Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Alicia Johnson and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you're here once again tonight to join us as we move through this journaling process. But if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is here in our little corner of YouTube land that we work on recalibrating our lives 12 hours for God and 12 hours for man. And we use a variety of modalities to get us through this process. Right now, we are using the power of journaling, and we are journaling. We have been journaling now for the past 27 days. This is day 28 of a 30-day process. But if you are just checking us out, don't worry. All of the recordings are there on the wall, so you can feel free to listen at your leisure. And so tonight we're going to dive right on in. We're now at day 28, and tonight we are forgiving ourselves for our poor personal choices. Assignment: reread your dedication so that you will remain pinpoint accurate in your journaling focus. Take time today to list all of the areas of your life you have made poor personal choices as it relates to you. These could be sexual indiscretions, abortions, infidelity, stealing, lying, or any number of things. Only you and God know. Once these items are listed, simply plead insanity. At the time you entered into these situations, you were completely ignorant of who you were created to be. Heaven knows and loves to forgive sincere hearts. Why? Identifying the areas where you have fallen short affords you the opportunity to free yourself once and for all. Benefit: listing your poor choices all at once allows you the space to cleanse and purge everything at one time. Day 28, forgiving your poor personal choices. This one is probably one of my favorites because I had so many poor personal choices that I had entered into over the course of my life. And being given the opportunity to sort of exonerate myself from all of those poor personal choices was a very exciting endeavor for me because I had messed up a whole lot of stuff. Your poor personal choices are just that, your poor personal choices. Doesn't have anything to do with anyone else other than you. You have made these decisions for yourself. You have made these choices for yourself. And you can always tell when you've made a poor personal choice because it just doesn't feel right. It's frustrating. You question yourself. You ask yourself and wonder why you've done the thing that you've done. So there are clues. There are clues that you have made poor personal choices. There's a lot of regret attached to your poor personal choices. There's a lot of second guessing attached to your poor personal choices. So the poor personal choice, that's like a tongue twister almost, but your poor personal choices, they have a voice. They have a voice. They have a certain ring to it. You know when you've messed up. But the key is to know that those things can be forgiven. But unfortunately, because a lot of times people feel that their bad choices or poor personal choices are so egregious that they're just so over the top, that they're just so shameful that they're afraid to even talk about it. So these are the things that people stuff for years. For years. Years. And I have been doing this life thing long enough. So for the young peoples that are watching, listen to your elders, listen to the people that have gone before you, listen to those people that are a little bit further in the game. Your choices all have consequences. So even though you may feel that you are sticking your head in the sand, even though you may feel that, ooh, that was so long ago, even though you may feel that you have distanced yourself so much from it, If you have personally not dealt with it, it still has a right to exist. And most people don't want to hear that. See, we have to understand that we have been made in the image and likeness of God. God is a creator, and we are creators as well. And because we are creators, the scenarios that we bring into existence means that we have created these scenarios. And because these scenarios have been created, they have a right to exist. In order for the right to exist to be revoked, you literally have to face that thing head on and take away its license. Turning a blind eye and walking away and just not discussing it does not make it disappear. When you begin to face your poor personal choices, you begin to open up more of your life. You begin to expand more of your life. You begin to give yourself the opportunity to spend more time with the blessing. I've unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, it's all in your perspective, have seen this too many times. If you have been privileged, if you will, and I do consider it a privilege, people have a opportunity to a lot like people have a birth date and people have a death date. For your birth date, there are, your mom has to be there for the birth date. And your father prayerfully was there for the birth date. So there are two key players that need to be there. And there may be other people, maybe a grandparent, however many people they let in the room, however you choose to have birth. But certain people may be given the opportunity to watch you arrive. Now, the exit point is a little bit different. The exit point is a little bit different because I've seen this too many times to not pay attention to it. Like at the end, you almost have the say so as to who and how you want to leave, in the sense that if it's a natural, if it's not, there are different types of transition. So I'm just talking about a natural, people know that you're passing transition. So that's a transition I'm talking about. So with those transitions, you have the opportunity, if you are in tune and in alignment with the process, you pretty much have the opportunity to leave in the way that you want to leave. By that, I mean with the people surrounding you that you want surrounding you. Like some people just want to pass without anyone around. Some people want to hang on until the last person that they want to see get there. I've seen this too many times and I've heard this too many times before to discredit it. So I don't have any science behind this, but if you've lived enough life, you kind of can gather the clues on your own. I have been in situations where people only wanted like certain people around them. And when this person or people left the room, that's when they would kind of leave or whatever. And then there are people that are just hang on until they get the opportunity to see the people that they want to see. But one of the most fascinating things that I have witnessed over and over again for the opportunities that I've had to be there with people that are transitioning, at that point, like when they're getting close to the end, most people want to make everything right. They want to confess everything. They want to just, hey, that was wrong. I want to apologize for this. I shouldn't have done that. I want to make sure that, we're good before I transition. I want to, people want to get it right. Their poor personal choices, the things that they got wrong, air quotes, they want to make it right. So, my prayer for everyone is that you get it right early in your life. And this is for like the really young people. I pray if you cross my path and you see this, y'all learn from me. Do it early enough so that you can enjoy the fullness of your life. See, a lot of my generation and those before me, we grew up in households, and there may be some households like that now, and I'm sure that there are, but it was almost like a societal thing at the time we grew up. What goes on in this house stays in this house. Don't you take it out there. Don't you repeat anything. Nothing. I better not hear any of this outside of these doors. And this is how every household was run. And because of that, a lot of secrets were held in, a lot of indiscretions, a lot of crazy things. A lot of people's poor personal choices were harbored and carried from generation to generation. And that is a very damaging way to live, not only for you, but for the people that have to suffer the consequences, if you will, of your actions. Especially like women that got pregnant out of wedlock, or people that wanted to hide affairs and situations like that. Families were just broken and crushed, and it was just crazy. But what I began to realize over the course of time, you can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide, no matter how much you try to turn away and to hide from your poor personal choices. It is going to surface spiritually, mentally, or physically. See, a lot of times people think that they have escaped something because it hasn't appeared in the natural. Not too many people know about it. But spiritually, if you are disconnected from heaven, spiritually, if you can't connect with heaven, spiritually, if you are stunted, that choice is taking its hold. Mentally, if you do not have the ability to renew your mind, you don't have the ability to gain the clarity to bridge the gap between heaven and earth, oh, it's taking hold. And physically, even though the situation may not have presented itself physically, your body does not lie. Y'all, your body don't lie. So your poor personal choices are going to do what they have come to do. And God began to deal with me on this. Oh, it was in my 30s. And I'll never forget, it was just like, it was almost like a fog, like a cloud of confusion. It was just like I was in a stupor almost, going through the motions, just living life, like looking out and trying to just see and grab glimpses and garner like wisdom, air quotes, wisdom from others that were living life, because I couldn't put a grasp on mine. And God was like, this is going to be your life if you don't come to terms and make peace with your poor personal choices. Oh, no, I'm not doing that, God. Oh, no, some of this stuff I am taking to the grave. I'm going to take some of this stuff to the grave. It's just some stuff I ain't going to be, Let this be a lesson to you. And this is the way it was explained to me. There's more room on the outside There's more room on the outside. There's more room when you release that thing than you trying to contain it in this vessel of your body. Because, see, if you hold it in too long on the inside, it's going to just have to keep expanding and taking up the space and moving through the limited area that it has. And it's going to affect your heart. It's going to affect your mind. It's going to affect your muscles. It's going to affect whatever part of your body corresponds with that thing that you are dealing with. It's going to reveal itself. So, no matter how much you try to hide anything, the secret will be revealed. And see, the thing is that God is so loving that when I say the secret is going to be revealed, it doesn't mean that heaven is going to broadcast it on social media. That's not what I mean. It means that the secret will be revealed in different areas of your life. You know personally why certain things are not working out the way that they're supposed to be working out because of your poor personal choices. When God began to work with me on this and had me to go through this process, I knew why my marriage wasn't working as it related to my side of the equation. I knew why it wasn't working. My poor personal choices. So I had to do what I needed to do on my side to get that thing right. My husband had his side of the equation, and he had to deal with his poor personal choices. And he had to deal with other people's poor personal choices. And when we started to each individually deal with those things, when we came together, we were no longer two broken people. See, this is where the world messes it up. You are not two halves coming together to make a whole. I'm not half, and my husband's not half. But because we were so broken, we were trying to put these broken pieces together to make a whole, and that was making an even bigger mess. So we almost had to go to our own corners, get our own stuff together, and then come back whole. Because, see, when you come back together whole, you can support and you can advance and you can do so much more together in a healed state. Are your poor personal choices keeping you in bondage financially? One of the things that when I started to really, when I cried out to God, I was like, God, just leave no area of my life unturned. Just like go through this sucker like a roto rooter. Just dig it up. And I'll never forget when I started to pray for my marriage earnestly, I was like, I was praying for I can't even remember the word now because God was like, just take it out of your vocabulary. Like restoration. I was praying for the restoration of my marriage. I was praying for God to restore it. God was like, yeah, no, that's not what we're doing here. This was built on such a shaky foundation that we got to tear the whole foundation up. Because, see, when you restore something, you're restoring it, but you're restoring everything like above the foundation. I was like, no, 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 no. We tearing the whole foundation up, just the ground. We starting like we putting the stakes back in the ground. Most people don't want to do that because it's a lot of work. But when you release and you surrender and you allow God to do what God needs to do, your comfort is not the utmost concern. And as you are moving through this process, your poor personal choices are going to be a topic of discussion. One of the main things I had to realize is that because of these poor personal choices that I had started to consistently delve into, these things have become habits of mine. These things have become like my default setting. So your poor personal choices, if you don't put them in check, will become your default setting, and this is what you do. One of my poor personal choices as it related to my finances, I would always choose to dismiss my efforts, like financially. I always considered other people were more savvy with money. More people were, people had more advantages than I did. People were born, like I went to a high school like with a lot of like old money, okay? That can like weigh on you. And it was, like legacy money. It was like trust fund babies. They graduate from college and then they're, made like VP of some department because their daddy owns the company. So one of my choices during this time period was, why try? Why even try? I mean, this is, and I'm from Alabama, and we were from a small town in Alabama, and there was, we would see people that had money, people that didn't have money, and it was just in your face all the time. And so my ultimate goal at the time was just to kind of do a little bit better, just, just whatever, just a little bit better, just so I can, but why try? I mean, it's not even a good what good are my efforts going to do? I'm never going to be that rich. I'm never going to be that whatever. And I would choose that every time. I would choose mediocrity every time. Cuz who's going to care what I do? Who's going to it's just me. That poor personal choice over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you can tell it's a poor personal choice because there's still something inside of you that knows you can do better. There's still something inside of you that knows that there is something that you're supposed to do, but you have chosen mediocrity. Y'all, once I got over that one, I don't choose mediocrity anymore. See, this is the thing that you have to understand. There are certain things that you do really well and some things that you don't. So for the things that you don't do really well, you find the people that do those things very well so that you can continue on the path of excellence for you. See, the world has diluted our potential to be great. The world has educated us out of our genius because the world is dividing everything so much so that we don't even have enough time to focus on the things that are going to make us great. The world does this. Pay attention. The world has everyone convinced that they have the attention span of like a tsetse fly or something, like something real small. I used to have people that would coach me and say you talk too, like that's too much. You talk too much. You can't, that's too long. You need to keep it to like 5 minutes. You need to keep it to like 4 minutes. You need to keep it to, I'm like, I don't get revved up till about 20 minutes. Oh my goodness. I said, I can't do that. I was like, the people he who has ears, then let them hear. The people that need to hear this, they're gonna have the patience, they're gonna have the capacity, they're going to have the attention span. And God has this community, y'all. This community fits everybody like hand in glove. We will be when we do like our intensives and our workshops. Y'all can comment in the chat. Look, we be on there like when I do my workshops and things like that. I put down 8 until like we start at 8. I don't put an end time simply because I'm no longer operating in mediocrity. I'm no longer just doing what the status quo requires in order to fit in. What are your poor personal choices? What are your poor personal choices? Do you quit every time something gets hard? Do you leave every time you get agitated? Does your pride rise up when people challenge you? Oh my goodness. I had to get this is why I am not taking it any easier on anyone, any easier than God did with me. There is no way this work, this community would be intact if I did not deal with my poor personal choices. The first time, and I've been doing this work since 2015, like officially. God was prepping me from like 2004, 2005, but that's another story. But from 2015 until now, I have literally been on the scene. I've been in community. I've been working. I've been doing this work. And before I started to do this work, God had to really condition me to release myself from my poor personal choices. God was like, suck it up, buttercup. You got to be stronger than this. I never forget because it's a group dynamic. We have a membership based community. And because it's a membership based community, people come, people go. And I have to live a detached life in the sense that I can't get so attached to the numbers. I can't get so attached to anything because I'll lose focus. God said, you concentrate on the work. I'll take care of everything else. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And I'll never forget and see, heaven will allow tests and heaven will allow opportunities to cross your path so that you know how much you've grown. I'll never forget the very first person that left the group. And it was a very big ordeal. It was a very big ordeal. I mean, this person like showed out because they knew that like the group was new and all of this, and they were like, I'm not gonna be the first one to leave. And because I'm a very, how can I put it? Um, let's put it this way. I'm on assignment. So I am not looking for approval in the sense that I need everyone to agree with the message. I am here to deliver the message. And whether you receive the message, I cannot be responsible for that part of it. But I have to make sure that I deliver the message and don't add anything to it and don't take anything from it, and that I give it just the way that God tells me to. And I'll never forget this person. And it was hilarious to me because I knew what God was doing. And this person, when they left the group, it was so funny to me because I was so relieved. I was like, "Ooh, at least I ain't got to deal with that anymore." That was like lurking in the background. If I had not, God had to rise that person up so that I could see who they were, so that God would let me know that this, my dear, this is not a bad thing. Because we have to understand that in God's economy, things are no longer good nor bad. It's all part of the process. See, one of my bad habits, one of my poor personal choices in the past was that when someone expressed a dislike towards me or something that I did, I wanted to modify it immediately so that you like me and we can be friends again. God was like, "You're not in this to be liked. You're not in this for approval. You are in this to help everyone who chooses to understand that on earth as it is in heaven, for everything in the natural, there's a parallel and corresponding occurrence in the supernatural. My job, my only job, my main concern is to help and assist people to bridge heaven and earth. If you are not making that connection, then my job is not done. Whether you like the way I make the connection, not my concern. Whether you approve of the process, not my concern. But in order for me, in order for you, in order for any of us to get to that place of being so focused and so set and so determined to see the assignment through, you have got to deal with your poor personal choices. Do you shy away every time someone has an opinion that's different than yours? Do you fail to do your research before you begin to enter into an area that is foreign to you? Do you fly by the seat of your pants in everything that you do? Are you only interested in the approval of social media? Are you only interested in the things that make you look a certain way? Are these your poor personal choices? If they are, then heaven wants you to deal with those things in the secret places. Heaven is not going to air it out to the world. See, this is the thing that I had to learn over the course of time. The world is a tougher taskmaster than God has ever been. God gives you, and this is how I know, like by the time something reaches the world, by the time something reaches the world, because the Bible teaches us that God always provides us a way of escape. You always have options to get out of the mess that you're in. You always have an opportunity to exit. At the point that you keep ignoring the exit ramps and you keep thinking that because heaven hasn't lifted that layer of protection, that you are golden, you are entering into a very precarious area. Like you getting ready to head down a very slippery slope. See, I look at like I read the media, like I read the news, I read those things like different stories just to kind of put it in perspective, like spiritually, like how many times did God give them the way of escape before it had to get to this point? Because I know me personally, Alicia Johnson personally, there are times that God has told me, you need to make this phone call. 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 You need to make this phone call at least 20, 25 times. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I don't want to do it now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it. Then the next thing you know, you got to knock on your door. I have ignored all of the opportunities to circumvent this next phase that didn't even have to happen because I continue to choose to ignore the signs. I look at people like the Bill Cosbys of the world. I look at the people that, the people that just like get like, dang, they've been doing this for like 30 years, 40 years. Like, how many times did God tell them, hey, you need to cut this out? Hey, you need to cut your losses. Hey, you need to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. So I know that by the time it has reached the world, that God is like, hey, obviously, you don't want the behind the scenes correction. So let the world handle it. Is that one of your poor personal choices? Negating the instruction. So y'all have fun with this one, and I could go on. Oh, I'm looking at the time. Y'all gonna let me. Ain't nobody saying nothing. What time is it? So this is how I can go. I can go on. Like we could have this topic going to about 9:30, but I gotta go to sleep because we got to get up in the morning at 5 a.m. for our abundance challenge. But I pray that tonight has been beneficial for you. And if you would like to join us, our next challenge. Now, this is going to be fun. So we're doing this forgiveness work here. Our next challenge is going to be for relationships, just in time for the holidays. But our relationship journal isn't like your typical relationship stuff. Like, we go deep in that one. So that one, I'm really looking forward to the relationship piece. So if you want to find out more about any of our challenges, then you can see the little ticker at the bottom, the 1212community.com. You can check us out there, or you can put a comment in the chat and my assistant will reach out to you and give you more information. But that challenge will start. Y'all give me the date. Y'all know me and dates, but it's not this Monday coming up because we're going to be on break. It's the next Monday. I think it's the 31st, October 31st will begin. So if you're enjoying the work that you're getting here and you want to go deeper and you want more, then come check us out. We'd love to have you. We're a nice, loving community. You either love me or you don't. So, there's like real no gray area there, but I get the job done. I get the job done. So you cannot say I don't get the job done. You may not like me that much, but I gets the job done. All right, everybody. So let's see, Stephanie Pierre, you're interested. Okay, great, great, great. So I will have my assistant reach out to you. I don't even know if she's on here tonight. Cynthia Flores. She will reach out to you if I think we can get your information from YouTube, but we'll find you. We'll find you. So anyway, so if there's anyone else that wants to join us, we would love to have you. But y'all have a good night tonight. Have a good night. And let yourself off the hook. Let yourself off the hook. Forgive your poor personal choices and plead insanity, because what you know now, you did not know then. So heaven is going to let you off the hook. All right, everybody. I love you all. Sweet dreams. And I will see y'all tomorrow.